Hello everyone, today we will be discussing about diffusion, osmosis and active transport.
First of all, what is diffusion? It is the movement of particles from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration down a concentration gradient. This process can take place with or without a partially permeable membrane and requires no energy at all.
Where does diffusion actually take place? Well, it takes place in the alveoli present inside the lungs. When oxygen arrives in inspired air, it diffuses down the concentration gradient and into the bloodstream where it can be transported around the body. Additionally, it also takes place in leaves, where carbon dioxide diffuses into the leaf down the concentration for photosynthesis to occur. The same takes place with oxygen but in the opposite direction, from the leaf to the atmosphere. What is more, diffusion helps water to pass from root hair cells to the xylem by which it can be transported. The path that water takes by diffusion is called the cell wall pathway.
How can diffusion be investigated? Take a glass beaker and separate two equal sides using a cloth. Now add distilled water on one side and concentrated sucrose solution on the other. Leave the beaker for a few minutes and you will see that the concentration in both sides of the beaker are the same. This is a result of diffusion.
Now that we fully discussed about diffusion, let's talk about osmosis. First and foremost, what is osmosis? It is the movement of water molecules from a region of higher water potential to a region of lower water potential down a concentration gradient. Do note that osmosis only takes place in the presence of a partially permeable membrane and does not use any energy. Now you might ask where osmosis takes place, and I've got the answer for that. It occurs in plant roots during water uptake from the soil. Just like I explained earlier, water enters root hair cells by osmosis as well. This path taken is called the vacuolar pathway. Water enters a root hair cell and the water potential of its vacuole increases. Now there is a concentration or water potential difference between the root hair cell and other surrounding cells. Therefore, water moves from cells with high water potential to cell with low water potential until the water reaches the xylem of the root from where it can be transported around the plant. When too much water enters a plant cell, the cell is known to be turgid, and when too much water is lost from the plant cell, it is known to be plasmolysis. In animal cells, when too much water enters it, the cell bursts because a cell wall is not present to resist the forces, and when too much water leaves the cell is called chronated. Osmosis takes place in root hair cells when water is taken up by soil particles. The water molecules move from a higher potential into root hair cells where there is a low water potential. When this happens, the concentration of the vacuole of the root hair cell increases, creating a water potential gradient between itself and other surrounding cells, so water moves into those cells. Likewise, water keeps on moving until it reaches the xylem vessels of the root through which it can be transported around the plant. The path.
Lastly, we have to talk about active transport, which is just as important as diffusion and osmosis. To start with, active transport is the movement of molecules from a region of low concentration to a region of high concentration, against a concentration gradient. Unlike diffusion and osmosis, this process requires energy released by respiration. What is more, this process can only take place in the presence of a partially permeable membrane.
Where does active transport take place? It takes place in the ileum of the digestive tract, where glucose is actively transported into the epithelial cells of the villi. Active transport occurs in plant root hair cells when uptaking needed mineral ions from the soil. Mineral ions are in low concentration in the soil, however they are actively transported into the root hair cells because they are necessary for the plant's growth.
We hope that you learned something new today. See you soon, bye. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press that bell icon to make sure that you won't miss out any new content. Also give it a like if you enjoyed it. And feel free to give out your comments and suggestions on our future content to help us improve the next time. Thank you.